Hey guys, it's Mia Redrick here, the mom strategist. Today I'm doing a powerful scope, and it's how to show up, really, how to show up like a giant. How to show up like a giant. You want to know how to show up like a giant? You're going to love this scope. I'm breaking it down today. Now, let me just tell you that this is going to be one of those tough scopes today. So if your feelings get hurt quickly, then this is not the scope for you, because I'm going to be breaking this down today. I am going to explain how to show up like a giant. Do me a favor and invite your friends on Periscope. Hit that little guy here. We want to pack it out because I'm going to break this down today, all right? And it's something that's just on my heart. I can do a quick scope, and then I have to meet my team today for the Time for Mommy retreat. I'm so excited. But I want to talk about how to show up straight up like a giant, all right? Because a lot of people aren't showing up like a giant. So I'm Mia Redrick. I am the mom strategist, and I support mostly moms with life and business success. You can always check me out. Let me move the camera. You can always check me out at miaredrick.com. A lot of you guys are signing up for my newsletter, and I'm excited about that. And I got started my business about 13 years ago. I made the decision to go to work as myself. I wanted to use my gifts as a corporate trainer, my love of motherhood into a business, guys. And I played full out to make that dream happen. Hey, Mocha, invite your friends. It's going to be a tough scope, okay? And so I am so delighted that I made that decision. It wasn't easy. You know, there wasn't someone else doing what I do at the time, and there were no mom coaches, right? And so I had to show up like a giant, and I'm going to explain that to you guys today, what it really takes to show up like a giant, right? And you either have a choice. You either get to show up like a giant, or you're showing up tiny, okay? You're showing up tiny for yourself. And like I said, it's going to be a tough scope. So if in fact your feelings get hurt, this is not the first scope you should join me on, all right? Just go check out some of the other ones, because I'm going to be bringing my A game for you guys, all right? I got started in my business 13 years ago. I combined my background as a corporate trainer and my love of motherhood into a business. Fast forward, I have coached over 602 moms specifically. Outside of that, another 112 of my clients I've supported as authors. Many of them are #1 Amazon bestsellers, right? Showing up like a giant. I'm here leaving, right, like leave it at the door, because I'm going to bring my A game on this scope. And my only goal is to serve you, and that hopefully something that I say will allow you today to show up like a giant, okay? Hey, Kizzy, I'm talking today about how to show up like a giant. And I'm asking you guys to invite your friends, invite your anyone on Periscope, Twitter, or Facebook who need to hear this message, because I don't think we get people to challenge us enough to show up. You know what I mean? Too many people playing small, playing tiny, all right? I have been an entrepreneur for a long time, and to me, the greatest privilege of all is that I own my time, and that I work 30 hours a month from the comfort of my home, doing exactly what I love with time-rich models. I have a number of passive streams of income using my education, right? I sell coaching programs, and I teach my clients how to do the same thing, okay? And they too are selling to people around the world, not just people that they know, and they're showing up like giants, okay? They're showing up like giants. And so that's what I want to talk about today, because to me, a giant move is being able to control your time and show up in your life the way you want to, and doing whatever it takes to get there, all right? To me, a giant move, thank you so much for sharing, is, you know, being able to be available for your spouse. For those of you who are married, to date them in the middle of the week. That's a giant thing. Like, that's like big, right? And I love the fact that I can date my husband in the middle of the day. In fact, today we had a date this morning, we had a nice little breakfast date, and it's just great. You don't have to wait till Friday night to go out with a person that you love. You can date in the middle of the day, but you got to do the work so that you can get free, so you can do that. All right. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. As a result of being an entrepreneur, I've been able to educate my kids with a world-class education. Literally, my husband and I have invested over $715,000 educating these little people 5th grade, 9th grade, and 12th grade. And I tell you that because I know that there's some of you out here who want to choose the kind of education that you want for your kids. And you're like, listen, if I could grow a business, you can, okay? And I can make a couple, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000. It would create some options for you in terms of that. But you got to be willing to do what giants do. And that's what I'm going to talk about today on this scope, okay? I'm fired up, you guys. I had 2.5 cups of coffee. So you're going to get the full effect of all of that. And I have to say that to me, showing up like a giant also means that you get to model an incredible blueprint for your kids of being courageous, of going after your dream. And so many of you talk a good game, right? But when it comes time to execute, you're the one, you don't execute for you, right? And giants execute like full out. And I'm going to break that down for you guys today. So if you've just joined the scope, I'm fired up. It's first thing in the morning, right? And I want to do a scope today on how to show up, how to really show up like a giant. I'm going to get started. If you are new to my scopes, yes, I homeschool my 5 kids. That's like a giant move, right? Like, boom, that's a lot, okay? And I'm going to break this down for you guys today. Just because you're a mom doesn't mean that you can't be a giant, right? Because you know what? I was a stay-at-home mom for 3 or 4 years. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Created a transition plan for me in my own business to combine my background as a corporate trainer and my love of motherhood into a business, right? And I said, you know what? When my youngest is in school all day, I'm going to rock this thing. And Matthew's now in 5th grade. And guess what? I have rocked this thing, all right? And so I just want to share my truth with you because, I think sometimes when you hear from people, particularly people who have created success, or you hear from experts, you always hear from this perspective of like, it's like the wind is blowing and it's like this red curtain behind them and you don't know what's behind the curtain. How did they get to where they are? And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to break down right now, how to show up like a giant. That's going to break that down, all right? If you're ready, then say, I'm ready, Mia, and I'll get started. I'm ready, Mia, and I'll get started today. Do me a favor if you're just joining, please hit the little guy here on Periscope. Let's get more people on the scope. More people need to hear this message. All right. Hey there, Latasha. More people need to hear this message, and don't keep it to yourself, all right? Don't keep it to yourself, all right? So, all right. Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that so much. All right. Because we want to touch more people. Thank you, Mocha. I appreciate that. All right. So I'm going to get started. How to show up like a giant. Okay. Savvy mom, how to show up like a giant. So let me tell you, one of the things that I know that giants do is they play full out. So, you may be thinking in your own life because you're busy. This is what moms say, right? Like you're busy in your own life, right? Because, you're with the kids or, you're running from your professional job to your, to picking the kids up from school and you're getting dinner ready. And you may think in your life that you are playing full out. But I want to challenge you to show up like a giant, okay? And if you're showing up like a giant in your life, that means that in addition to doing the things that you have to do, that you're always making sure that you're taking care of you, okay? See, giants take care of themselves. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. A giant takes care of themselves because they know that if they don't take care of themselves, they can't do anything for anyone else. And there's so many moms out here who make the excuse that just because they are a mom and they've got all of this on their plate, taking care of their kids, getting dinner ready, working a full-time gig, you know what I'm saying, and volunteering here and there, that they can't take care of themselves. And what I'm telling you straight up is that that's not a giant move. See, because you can't teach your kids or give to your kids what you are not. And so a giant understands that. So a giant unapologetically from jump always looks for opportunities to take care of themselves. Somebody write, take care of yourself, because it is a giant move. And if you are not, hey, Luan, if you are not, Luanda, I just said this, not even 5 minutes. See, it's confirmation, okay? A giant takes care of themselves. I believe one of the most selfish things that we can do as a mom, thank you so much, is not give your kids all of who you are because you don't know yourself. See, that's a tiny move. That's a small move. See, and yet so many moms hide behind the fact that, I'm busy. I'm so busy. I got 2 kids. I got 3 kids. We've got all of these activities. But what your kids really need from you is to see you rocking you. Okay? And if you aren't rocking you, guess what? They're not going to get all of you. And I'm going to tell you what it looks like on the back end. I've coached so many. Yeah, I've coached so many moms, 602 moms. They've been trying to lean sideways, lean forward, lean in, lean back. And the fact of the matter is, let me tell you something. It all boils down to one thing. No one has the truth for you but you. But you got to take time for you to figure out what that looks like. And if you don't, let me calm down, right? If you're not willing to do the work, right, to take a stand for who you are, okay, and what you need, then your life will never look the way you want it to be. It will always be a hope and a wish. I know this is true. I've coached 602 moms. And let me just tell you, this I do know for a fact, that if you don't make consistent time to take great care of who you are, you will not know, you will not know what you need to do next. You will not know what is the best choice for you. You will not be able to make a powerful choice. Now, a giant understands that. And for those of you who have been using your kids as a shield and justifying that you cannot rock your life while you take care of your kids, just understand it's a small move. It's a tiny thought. All right. My husband was on dialysis for 7 years. At the time he was on dialysis, my oldest son was 12 years old. My daughter was 5 years old. And my son was 1 year old. And despite that, I decided that I had to show up like a giant for them. I had to take care of me so that I could be there for my husband in the way he needed me to be. I could be there for my kids in the way that they needed me to be. And I couldn't be there for them if I was depleted, if I didn't like my life, if I was feeling resentful. Somebody say, I'm with you, Mia, right? Because I want to break this down. I'm taking a stand for you guys today. I had 2.5 cups of coffee. I'm fired up. And I just want you to know that you got to show up like a giant for yourself. If you want to show up, yes. If you want to show up for your kids, it doesn't start with them. It starts with you. And you will never be able to give your kids all of who you are if you don't know you. How selfish is that? I think that is like, well, are you kidding me? I work with so many women who have marital issues. And you know what? It all starts with because they don't believe it. They don't believe anything anybody says to them. You could have a spouse that says you look great, but if you don't believe you look great, guess what? You can't receive that. So you got to understand that if you want to show up like a giant in your life, the foundation starts with you. All right. If you come to me as I'm your coach, right? And you tell me, you know what? He never takes me out. He never, he doesn't know what I want to do. I don't feel beautiful anymore. He doesn't acknowledge me. My question to you is, what do you like to do for you? Tell me 3 things. Tell me 5 things. Any stuttering? Because if you don't know what you want, you can't inform your life. You know what? So many of the guys we're in relationship with, right, are so pressured, right? They're so pressured, right? Because you want them to read your mind and you know what I mean? And fill a cup that is empty. That is not anybody's responsibility. You to show up like a giant in your relationships, in your marriage, with your kids, right? You got to do the work. And that means you got to show up 100% for you. And if you're not adding value to your relationship. And that is not what giants do. Giants hold up the world. They don't deplete the world that they're in, okay? They do the work. That's right. They hold up the world. And if you're not holding up the world because you can't hold up another thing because you don't invest in you, I'm telling you, you're not showing up like a giant. And maybe nobody told you this. Maybe your mom didn't tell you this. Maybe your grandmom didn't tell you this. Maybe your girlfriends didn't tell you this. Because you know what? Their parents don't have a blueprint of what self-care looks like. A giant builds a culture of self-care within their family, and that starts with them. You know what? You want to change how your kids, you want to change how your kids see the world, you change your world, and they will see it through your lens, and you get to inform that process. I told you guys this was going to be a tough scope today, and if it hurts your feelings, I'm sorry, but I just want to share with you guys some truth. I've coached so many moms over the years, right? You got to build a culture of self-care within your family. It's something I know a great deal about. I've been dating myself since I had my first child over 19 years ago, I had my first child. I was pregnant, 6 months pregnant. I started dating myself when I was pregnant. My mom made me promise I would do that. And as a result of that, dating myself for the last 19 and a half years. None of this is hype, guys. And my son's 18 now, right? And I know a little something. I know a little something about adding value to your life and showing up 100% for your family, right? It's conviction of confirmation. And I just want to break it down for you because there's so much noise out here in the marketplace. There's so many people who are telling you guys to do all of this stuff, like read my formula. You know what? At the end of the day, you create your formula. You want to show up like a giant. It's not somebody else's formula. What you got to understand is that some people, they get a lot of help. Like they might have a lot of support in their family that you don't have. That's why it's important for you to build your own model for your own self-care. And it starts for you taking time for yourself. All right. You want to show up like a giant. The next thing you got to do, you got to understand that, investing in yourself is a non-negotiable. Your self-care is a non-negotiable. And I'm going to break this down. And I know that some of you guys might drop off right now. And it was nice seeing you. But I'm going to tell you straight up. All right. Whenever it comes for you to write a check for you to invest in you go back. You don't operate like a giant. You don't think like I need this, okay, to fine tune who I am. You think we need new uniforms. They need new sneakers. And somehow in your mind, you believe that as a result of giving your kid another set of sneakers, right, for, $80, instead of you buying that CD or that audio that will change your life, okay, that somehow you made the right choice. You made the wrong choice, okay? And I'm going to tell you, and I'm a mom that gives 100% to her kids. But let me tell you, the first check I write every month is for me. Okay. And, obviously I tithe and then I sow a seed in my life that will make my life better. And what I've been able to do for my kids is show up 100% for them because I'm better, because my life is bigger, because I'm happier, because I'm more fulfilled. And so many of you see the hearts went away. I told you, I know this is true because it is not part of the blueprint that we have as a mom. We've been programmed and we've been conditioned as a mom. You know what? When everything else is done, then you get what's left. When everything else is depleted, you scratch together what's left. And that is the recipe for unhappiness long term. That is setting yourself up to look at your life 10 years later. Trust me, I have coached so many women who have done this, okay, who have written checks for every single thing in their life, sending their kids to all kinds of field trips, sending their kids abroad to do all kinds of things, buying birthday parties, doing all these things. And they couldn't justify for themselves a course, going back to graduate school, you know what I mean? Working with a coach, doing whatever they needed to do to really show up in their life so they could truly add value to their family because they love themselves, and then they look at their life years later. And I'm going to tell you what it looks like. And this is going to hurt some of you guys because it might be familiar. But what it looks like is that your kids are growing and you are not. Your spouse is growing and you are not. And you look at them and you're expecting them to acknowledge in you something or give you something you didn't give to yourself. And why in the world would anybody give you what you would not give to yourself from the very beginning? All right, hello. Or it looks like you wanting to hold on to the old days of when they were just little and they needed you just this way to justify your life that is no longer fulfilled because you didn't put something there for you. And I'm taking a stand for you and your family. I'm telling you that here's the thing. What I'm telling you guys is so spot on and it's so good. And so many of you guys, you believe it. Your intention, your heart is right, but your mind, you're not thinking like a giant, because what a giant understands is that, you know what? Me sowing a seed into who I am is a seed that will grow, that I can eventually plant in my kids. You know what I mean? It's something they get to see, right? And what a burden for a child to not have a parent that grows. Come on. What a burden for a kid to have an unhappy, unfulfilled mom, okay, that's needy because you don't have anything for you. So you want them to do whatever it is that you need, because why? You didn't fill your own cup. Somebody write, fill your own cup here, fill your own cup. Do me a favor, guys, and share if you've just come on the scope. I'm breaking it down. I'm breaking this down for you guys today because it's so important. You know what I mean? It's so important. Could somebody write the title here today? I get myself fired up. And you know what? I have to like almost fan to calm myself down. All right. Right. You know what I mean? Fill your own cup. Somebody write, fill your own cup. All right. And if you're not filling your cup, then you're going to forever ask somebody else to do that. And that is not what giants do. Right. Fill your own cup. Fill your own cup. All right. And the deal is about filling your own cup is that, you know what? In order for you to give someone something, you got to have overflow. Like everything within your cup you need. Okay. It should be for you. You want to be able to sow yourself so full that you're giving from your overflow. See, that's an abundant place. That's where giants live. But when you don't think like a giant, you think tiny, right? Right? When you're thinking small, then what you're thinking is, oh, I'm going to give you what I need. No, give from your overflow because you've sowed into yourself. And this applies to everything. I always think about it because, you know, I was a stay-at-home mom. I loved it. And then I worked in corporate America. I loved it. And I was like, man, I want quality of life. I know I have that. So I want to also monetize my business. Oh, I totally need that. And I'm going to put these things together. Now my kids are going to benefit from this, right? Because I'm going to be able to be there for them. But I can't do this by myself. So I got to invest in a solution that will allow me to show up like the way I want to consistently for the rest of my life. And I've been free for over a decade. And you know what? When you guys hear my kids speak on Sunday of my retreat, that's November 11th through 13th, one of the things you're going to know for sure is she fills her cup. And because of it, they experience the overflow. And the thing is, I don't say that to be boastful. I say it because it is a truth that I know. I have an 18-year-old, I have a 15-year-old, I have an 11-year-old, and I've been dating myself since I was pregnant, 6 months pregnant with my first son. And it's something that I know. And it's not something I made up with a ghostwriter. It's not something that it's something I live. And I hope that this truth is resonating with you because I want you guys to get it. I want you to get it. I want you to show up like a giant in your life. And you got to do that by investing in yourself. And you can't skimp on that. That needs to be something that you model for your kids. You know what I mean? Like, so for example, just recently, my daughter, she had a babysitting gig, right? So she had a babysitting gig and it was a pretty big gig for her, right? And I told her, I said, you know, I can show you how to set this up for you. And she was like, okay, tell me, Mom. And I said, well, you know, I charge for my services, right? And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I charge for my services, right? So you would never want someone to teach you and tell you how to rock out your business and not be willing to invest in that. Don't you ever get that twisted in your mind. You invest for what you want to know. You are your number one asset, and giants understand that. And I teach that to my kids from the very beginning. And I know that some of you are like, what? You charge your kids? Yes, because I want my daughter and I want my sons to always understand that you are your number one investment. If you want to understand the solution to growing your life, building your life, your own personal growth, showing up like a giant, you've got to be an investor. If you look at your top professionals, people you guys see every single day, every single one of them have invested in something that they want. Whether you're talking about, you know, if you're talking, train them up early, whether you're talking about they invest in vocal coaches or speech coaches or athletic coaches, or you name it, they're all investors. And we see this every single day, but we don't apply what we see to our own lives. I'm just telling you why this stay-at-home mom decided to combine her professional gifts and background to monetize from the comfort of her home, working 30 hours a month. And I know so many moms want that, 30 hours a month doing what I love. And how did I do that? I didn't come up with a solution by myself. I invested in a coach. I was unapologetic about it. She was charging $1,000 a month. I did not have $1,000. Did not stop me. I said, I got $100. What can I get for $100? See, because I'm my number one asset, and that's what giants do. They find a way. And then so many of you are finding excuses instead of finding a way. You say your kids are your number one priority, but they're your number one excuse. And I'm just breaking it down because if you look at your actions, you would never choose what you've chosen for your kids over the last 2 or 3 years because it was not a powerful choice. You chose it for you because you were afraid, because you didn't want to show up in your life. I'm just breaking it down. And like I told you, I knew it would be a tough scope today. But if I reach one mom who then says, you know what, Mia, I got this. This is me. then I've done a great scope today, because that's my goal. I want to shift the way you think. I don't want to shift the way you're showing up for yourself. You're sitting at work every single day doing work that you kind of love. You're building a muscle of doing little, right? Because you're not showing up powerfully. Giants show up powerfully in their lives. The moment that you're doing something over and over again, and you don't like doing it every single day, and you get in your car and you spend more energy doing the thing you don't like to do, and you spend no time doing what you need to do to get out of the thing that you really want to do, you're showing up small. And I ask you, what are you willing to do? You know what I mean? How are you going to change that thing? So many people, they tell me all the time, you know what, Mia, I would start a business, but I don't have time to do it. Okay? All right. Well, that's a small thought. Because I started my business 4 to 6 hours a week, and I had to get out. Like, I had to make that decision that I could do 4 to 6 hours for me to create the change that I want. Nobody said 40 hours. That's your story. You got to understand that. If you want it bad enough, you will commit to the time that it takes to do it. You'll commit to the solution that will support you in getting there. And you'll stop justifying, well, I'm just doing this for now. No, you've been doing this for now for 5 years, for 10 years, for 15 years. And you need to look on the other side. Like, what is the price of your happiness? That's what I'm asking. I got to drink my water. 1 second. I just wanted to break this down for you guys, because I get myself all hot when I'm doing these scopes, right? What is the price? All right. I get myself all hot, Kizzy. I get all hot because I'm just breaking this down for me. Do me a favor, guys. If you're just joining the scope, I'm Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist. I support moms with life and business success. I'm going all in today. I told you it was going to be a tough scope. Do me a favor, guys, and invite any people on Periscope. Hit that little guy right here. Let's pack up the scope. We need more moms seeing this, right? Because there's so many people making excuses, right? It costs too much not to stuff out. Shifting the mindset. You have set off my alarm. Yeah. Beyonce said, ring the alarm, right? Right. Ring the alarm, because, I just want to break it down. I've coached so many moms, and I hear the same stuff over and over again. Then I also get to see people who stand like a giant, and they make the decision, and then they create options for themselves. They create options. Somebody write options. See, giants create options for themselves, right? But when you're not operating like a giant, right, they own it, right? When you're not operating like a giant, then you don't think about options for yourself. You think life is this or that. What you got to understand about yourself is that you create a story, and based on the story, you begin to live out that story in your mind. So the truth of the matter is, there are a lot of different ways to get things done. But if you're looking for how it won't work, those are the only conclusions and actions that will drive your intentions. And if you're looking for how things can work, and you're asking those questions, then that's what giants do, then you will align your actions and your intentions to be able to create that. And for those of you who have been struggling for years saying, I've got this business, I can't make any money in my business. Okay, I hear you. I've got this idea, but one day I want to do it. Okay, well, when is that? Okay, you know what? Well, when my kids get this age, I'm going to do that. Well, who said that you have to wait till it's a certain age for you to do that? You got to understand that you are stuck in your story. You're stuck in your story, and you believe that, I'm not going to curse. Okay. So we'll just say that BS story that you're telling yourself over and over again, because you don't have to change. You don't have to do anything different. See, if you stay stuck in your story, you don't have to change anything. You just get to go on autopilot. I talked about that the other day. You get to be an autopilot. You don't have to change anything. Right. You don't have to change anything, and you can believe that, right? But what you got to understand, if you want to show up like a giant, you showing up with like a giant is a matter of asking different questions, right? Exactly. Belief system, right? Yeah. I like that. Oh, I like that. So the beliefs, I love that. Latasha, I like it. That's really good. Okay. I'm gonna have to borrow that one. Okay. I'm gonna borrow that, Latasha. But you got to understand, that, you got to change that belief system. You do. I like it. You got to change that belief system. Okay. And that system is keeping that way of thinking is keeping you broke It's keeping you stuck. It's keeping your kids from seeing the possibility of who you are. It's keeping you from being happy and fulfilled in your relationships, in your marriage, because you know what? You're not showing up like a giant. And the thing you got to understand is that you were meant to be powerful. You know what I mean? There's nothing more amazing than showing up with someone that loves their life, being friends with somebody that loves their life, having a mom that loves her life, being married to somebody that loves their life. But conversely, imagine being around someone that hates their life. Imagine that. Okay, is that a giant move? It's not a giant move. It's a tiny place, and you don't have to stay there. And so many people stay there because they don't want to change. And I just want to challenge you guys out here. Hopefully you feel my heart. You know what I'm saying to you is so true. And you know, I know that it's important, definitely, in your businesses to monetize in your business and create options. But what I know is true is that a 6-figure launch isn't going to make you happy. If you don't get what I'm talking about right now, okay, that showing up like a giant is not just about making money. Showing up like a giant is making a decision to own who you are and showing up 100%. Somebody write 100%, because your life informs your business. Your life, the quality of life. And too many of you guys are running and chasing people who are celebrity or who have the perception of something that you want, and it's not what you want, and you can't even discern what you want like a giant would, because you aren't spending any time alone to be able to say, what do I need? What's the solution that I need? So therefore, you find yourself at a conference, right? Choosing somebody to work with, because they've got a pretty dress on and they've got a great talk, okay? And you're like, wow, that was so inspiring. Is that what you need? And you will never know what you need if you don't have clarity in your life. If you're not getting clear, if you're not spending alone time, if you don't understand where you're trying to go, how do you choose a solution for yourself? Somebody say, hello, because you cannot. And I tell you this as someone who has the great privilege to coach so many people, who sometimes come to me having worked with so many other people, and they say to me, you know what? Either they built a business that is like a job, because the person they were working with, quality of life didn't matter to them. They didn't care about having a relationship with their spouse. They never saw their kids. What do you expect? Okay? I'm telling you that when you're investing in your solution, you need to invest in the thing that you really want. And that is best served when you get clear. When you get clear about what serves your highest good, and you begin to invest in things to amplify that amplify that. And a lot of us are not doing that. We're not showing up like giants because we're not getting clear. We don't know what we want. So you can sell us anything, anytime, any place. You know, I'm telling the truth. You guys, the hearts went away, but I want to break it down for you guys today, because I want to show you how to show up like a giant. If you've just joined the scope, I'm telling you, I was on fire all day. Do you have space in your time for one more mom? Okay. I don't know. For at the retreat, yes. If you want to come, I'll make space for you. So if you want, there is the standard retreat. We have standard tickets that are $400. We have standard tickets that are $400. We have standard tickets at timeformom-meretreat.com, timeformom-meretreat.com, timeformom-meretreat.com. And the VIP tickets are gone. But if you decide you want to do a VIP ticket, I think I can get a seat for you. I can work that out. All right. You just have to buy the ticket. You need to take an action. All right. So I'm not going to hold it. If you say you want it, then you got to do it. All right. So here's the thing. And the last thing I want to say to you guys, if you want to show up like a giant, if you want to show up like a giant, here's the thing. You need to be around other giants. So one of the reasons that people show up small is because they're not around giants. You know what I mean? You're not around giants. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you this. This is so, oh my goodness. I have a lot of friends that are giants. I associate with people who are giants. Now, let me tell you something. Giants make noise, okay? You know what I mean? They take up room. They're big, okay? They're bold, okay? They do the impossible, all right? And people see them. So a lot of you guys are not showing up like giants because you're not around giants. You know what I mean? You're around people who are not taking up any room, who are playing small, who, you know what I mean? Who you can't be all of who you are. You know, if you get out there and you say, this is the thing I want to do, I want to be a mom coach. Not everybody can handle that. Tiny people can't handle mom coaching when mom coaching isn't popular, right? Giants can. Giants say to you, that's totally possible. How you gonna do that? You ever thought about this? You ever thought about that? Well, I did this and I did that. And a lot of you guys are not showing up like giants because you don't know any giants. You don't hang out with giants. Let me tell you something. It's nothing like hanging around with a giant. I told you guys, what was it, a week ago? I made a decision for the Time for Mommy retreat to have 100 people come to the virtual retreat, right? So 56 people right away bought tickets. So I was like, oh, okay. So I'm going to clearly hit that goal. So that's it's not a challenging goal. So I went to one of my friends and a coach, and they said, what scares you? See, this is what giants ask you. What number scares you? I was like, well, I don't know if a number scares me. I mean, I said, but 500, I would have no idea how I would do that. I mean, if I hit 500, I can't really answer that for you today. I said, that's the number. You need to have somebody saying to you, what's the number? And a lot of you guys are not showing up like giants. Not because you can't, because you don't have people who ask you to show up 100% for you. And you like it. You know what I mean? But giants have people around them that challenge their dreams, their bigness. You know what I mean? They don't put it down. They say, come on, you can do that. When you going to do that? Well, what'd you do about that today? Well, who did you call today? And if you don't have that level of accountability in your life, or you don't have people in your life that show up like that, it's very difficult to show up in your bigness because, you know, most people are herd folk. Most people, they do the small things. But when you're talking about that 10% that are showing up like giants, they get you to do stuff you never thought you could do. You know what I mean? They get you to commit to things you never thought you could commit to. And because of that, your dreams become a reality. And I'm not hyping on it. I'm just saying I always like to use my life in a real way because listen, I could only do what I do because I had giants. My coach always said to me, I said, I want to get a corporate partnership, you know, and I said with Panera Bread, she's like, how are you going to do that? What's your plan to do that? I was like, well, I don't really have a plan. Let me get a plan. Okay. Let me figure this out. I was like, I'd like to do TV. Well, where? With who? How? Well, I'm not really sure. Let me get a plan. You know what? Which resulted in getting signed to an Emmy-nominated, nationally syndicated show. Right. You have to. You have to. Because when you're working with a coach, I'd love to support you. If you're working with a coach, if you're working with a mentor, if you're hanging around people who are already giants, they're going to make bold requests of you. They're going to make bold requests of you. They're going to make bold requests of you. And they're not going to allow you to play small, to play tiny. And that's where most people are. And I'm just telling you, I wanted to give to you guys from my heart because that's what I wanted to do. All right. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Just a little something. I told you it was going to be a tough scope, but hopefully you felt my heart. Linda Passion, you got to catch the replay. I have a meeting at 12 o'clock. Somebody tell me what time it is. So I want to wrap up and see, did you guys have any questions for me? Let me just tell you there are a couple options. If in fact, I want all of you guys should be at my retreat and November 11th through 13th. There's really no reason. All right. So if this resonated with you, you know, you need to be there and you got a couple options. You can come in person. It's in Baltimore, Maryland, November 11th through 13th. You get a standard ticket and come. The weekend is all about that, you know, unapologetically understanding, taking your ordinary and turning it into something extraordinary. November 11th through 13th in Baltimore, Maryland. It's the Time for Mom-Me retreat experience. Kizzy, get a virtual ticket. You have 7 days access to the live stream. You can pop in. You're out of town, but you won't be busy all day. All right. And so just get what you can get, right? Get an association. The information that we're going to be bringing, everybody that's taking my stage, they're a giant. All right. They're a giant. Okay. They've overcome. All right. And the thing is, they're real women who have quality of life. And that to me is important to give to you. You know, Joyce Bone borrowed $10,000. She started with $10,000 and then 18 months later turned her company into $50 million business revenue. Later, her company went public and in the company she sold for over $150 million. And she's going to be in the house. That's one reason to be there. She dates her husband. She picks her kids up from school. Quality of life does not escape her. That's a giant. You know what I mean? You want to live like a giant? Learn from a giant. Okay, not a hype giant, a giant. Okay. Now, Marcella Nixon, one of my clients, has Crohn's disease. And here's this woman who made a decision. She wanted to monetize passively. That was our coaching work together. She's done that. She's been able to, right out the gate, boom, made $27,000 with a beta launch. Monetize. She doesn't have to show up to make money. If you don't know how to make money passively, you need to be in the house. Are you kidding? Like, one idea can get your ticket price back. Are you serious? All right. We also have Mary Jo Cranemore. I get myself fired up. Mary Jo Cranemore is coming. She is a former producer for Dateline and Good Morning America. Her clients have done all kinds of media work. For those of you out here like, I need to get some media. How do I amplify my media? How do I get more exposure? Get mentored by someone that knows that. Okay, get your questions answered. All right, don't sit on the sidelines. That's not what giants do. Okay, and then say afterwards, dang, I should have, What? You should have. See, giants take action. All right. So that I just want to say that I'm going to be teaching you guys over the course of the weekend how to leverage what you know to earn six figures, and how to build a solid six-figure business, because I think it's so important. We don't talk about it enough. But more importantly, your life informing your business, your life informing your business. All right. I do offer, there is a virtual ticket. And you can go to timeformom-me-retreat.com. There is a virtual ticket, guys. It's just $197. So that's pretty inexpensive. You get 7 days access to the live stream. No excuses, right? We're bringing our A game. We're going to get you in on the VIP sessions. All of the speakers are going to talk to you directly. You're going to have 7-day access to the live stream. Come on, right? This right here is just a sample of what can happen. You know what? You get one idea. One idea can change your whole world. That's how I look at life. That's what giants do. If you want to come in person, I'd love for you to come. There are standard tickets available. They're just $400, period. $400. But we won't even talk about the level of association over the course of the weekend. You may meet your people, other giants, right? Other giants are going to be in the room. You want to meet giants? Your world doesn't have giants? Show up with some. And, I just want to say that to you guys. I've been talking about it on all of my scopes. You can come to the retreat, timeformom-me-retreat.com. You can also partner with me if, in fact, you're like, listen, I know other people who would be interested. My goal is to get 500 people to come to the event virtually. How in the world am I going to do that? I am just putting it out here, and I'm telling you that if you want to partner with me, I'll give you half the ticket prices to share. I have the idea, just need the giant to push me into my potential. Absolutely. You got to be willing to invest in that solution. So that's a way that you guys can do it. If you decide that you want to coach with me, there's several different options that are available. The most popular really is I have a program called Core Moms Coaching. You guys can all visit that. CoreMomsCoaching.com, Core, C-O-R-E, momscoaching.com. And essentially it's a 12-month coaching program where I show you soup to nuts how to build your brand from scratch, how to get media, how to position yourself as an expert, how to sell. CoreMomsCoaching.com, right? CoreMomsCoaching.com, no apostrophe.com. And that program is phenomenal. Like, people come out of that program and they build their entire brands. It's a life track, a 1-hour coaching call every month where I teach you a strategy that relates to your life, because your life informs your business. What's draining you, how to set your office up properly, meaning for a 6-figure business, okay, not where to move your furniture, all right? I talked how to identify for yourself systems for outsourcing, insourcing in your life. Some of you guys are overwhelmed and you don't have systems in your life that make room for you to be able to do business properly as a mom or as a woman. So I show you how to do that, because quality of life is important. Also on the business side, I teach you how to create products, how to outsource in your business to save time and money. I show you how to sell without selling, because just because you started a business doesn't mean you know how to sell. There's a private community that I also offer. A private community that I offer where I answer any questions. You can write me once a week, an email that, a specific question that you have. My clients will tell you I answer every question. And then you also get a 1-hour open coaching call with me every month, which is where we'll have one tonight where it's fire, where people come on and say, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? And I answer every question, right? Because, or maybe you want a hot seat because you've got an appointment with a corporate partner. We go through that too. How to get media, how to pitch yourself in the media. I go through that too in the modules. But it's from soup to nuts. It's a phenomenal program. It's super awesome. And somebody say how much, right? So there is a scholarship available if, in fact, your business does under $50,000 a year. You can apply for a scholarship. And if not, then the program is $7,500, okay? And you can pay in thirds, you can pay in half, you can, those are the options, all right? So if you're interested in that, you just need to simply email me at mia@findingdefinitions.com, mia@findingdefinitions.com. It's a phenomenal program. Hundreds of women have gone through it literally with no product and built their brand from scratch. So from soup to nuts. And the coolest part is you can meet them. Like I'll let you meet them. Like that's a novel thing today, but you want to meet them, you want to see what they're doing, they'll tell you what they're doing. They're all recouping their investments, they're getting their life right and they're monetizing in their business. So that's an option. I'd love for you to come. If you coach with me, I'll give you a ticket to the retreat. So all my clients, I also extend to them an opportunity for them to come to the retreat as well. So whether we're talking a virtual ticket or whether we're talking a live ticket. All right. So are there any questions for me? Are there any questions for me? Mia@findingdefinitions.com is my email address. My clients will tell you, just like I am with you right now, is how I am. All right. So, and I care about you. I just want you to get the results that you deserve. All right. And I want you to stop making excuses because you're a mom. And, I want you to show up like a giant because you can. And your kids deserve it. And your husband deserves that too. And that's, to me, ultimately what a great life is, right? And to me, to build a business and never see your family is like the opposite of what I want. I can't judge it for anyone else. I can just say, if you are interested in anything that I'm going to teach, let's talk about your quality of life. All right. And that to me informs your business. And I know that you can do it because that's what I do. And that's what I teach other women how to do. So if that's of interest to you, then, you'll love everything that I scope about. For those of you who have just joined me, you're going to have to catch a replay. I'm getting ready to sign out. I've got a meeting with my team member today, but I just wanted to say, you know what, if you want to show up with a giant, do those things. And, I hope that you guys sign up for the retreat. I hope you sign up to partner with me I hope you sign up to coach with me because I'd love to support you in life and business success this year. That's it. All right, so I'm done. I just want to say thank you guys for your time. I appreciate you. Yeah, good day. I appreciate you. All right, and I love you. All right, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a nice day. Bye.